Welcome to the Wildcast Podcast, coming to you from Wildcast Studios, with your hosts Adam Lund and Jeremy Boucher.
Welcome in one more time to our makeshift Wildcast studio for another episode of the Wildcast Podcast Daily at the Memorial Cup, your official voice for all things of your 2025 Jokoto Trophy champion, Moncton Wildcats, presented by Discount Flooring Center, a division of Fabulous Flooring. They are home to the largest variety of high-end current and discontinued lines of hardwood, ceramic vinyl, laminate flooring, luxury model tiles, and even blinds for immediate purchase. And for you DIYers out there, they also offer state-of-the-art technology to give you a realistic visual of your project, located at 320 Collishaw, or give them a call at 506-859-9909. I don't know how it is there in Moncton, Jeremy, but here it is 20 and beautiful. What's it like there?
About the same. It's mostly a little cloudy here, 20 degrees, but the sun's peeking through the clouds, and grass is growing really fast. So I had it. We had it cut last Thursday, and it needs cut again. So we're, the rain and the sun seems to be doing the job.
And by we had it cut, you had it cut by somebody, or you went out and cut it yourself?
Well, my old man did it, but yeah.
Oh, okay. Not Avery yet? You don't have her cutting the lawn yet?
No, she's not into that stuff yet. But maybe I have to. First of all, I need to purchase a lawnmower. That is
step one. That is step one. Yeah.
I think once that's done, I'll show her how to do the trick.
Perfect. All right. Well, I see our guest backstage, so let's hit the drop and get to our esteemed guest, shall we?
All right.
View from the other bench.
And View from the Other Bench is sponsored by Waterworks Pools and Spa, providing Atlantic Canadians with custom in-ground pool, spa service, and supply since 1986. If you're looking for a new spa service or maintenance by their trained technicians, or getting your pool from green to clear, come see them at 194 Killam Drive in Moncton, or 859-1980. I had to remember that number. All right, Mr. Will MacLaren, welcome in, Will.
How's it going, boys?
Jeez. All dressed up. Makes us look underdressed here.
Well, Boucher, that's never my intent. That just happens naturally.
Well, yeah.
Now that we got that out of the way, it's got to be a record quickest chirp for you.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to say, my daughter would describe your outfit today as being slay. So you're doing a great job.
Yeah.
Well, I knew. Hey, not every day you get an invite as prestigious as this. You got to look the part. Come on.
The drip is off the chain for sure. All right, now that we've let all the Gen Xers get into this show, I guess just when did you arrive? How's it been? And how are you?
Well, doing great. I heard you mention while I was backstage, the weather's been phenomenal. Sounds like it hasn't been the case all week, but it's in top form right now. I got in yesterday, actually. Drove up from Halifax, landed here yesterday afternoon, toured the sites, took some dining tips from our good friend Mavs Gillis. Currently, Pat McNeil is somewhere around this room, keeping the noise to a minimum, if you can believe that.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's been great. I mean, it's the Memorial Cup. Whether your team's in it or not, whether you're covering it, as in broadcasting, it's always it's an exciting time. For me, it's always been the draft, the opening of the Memorial Cup, and first round of the playoffs. There's a certain vibe to all three of those things that's just unique. And I mean, for me, it's peak.
My first thing is it's 10 after 1 in the afternoon there. What the heck is Pat McNeil doing awake already?
That took an agreement to ensure that his livelihood was taken care of. Wasn't easy. There was some hard negotiations, but in the end, we reached some sort of agreement. So if you hear some snoring in the background, it's probably the TV. Don't worry.
It's got to be a record. He's been on the show twice, but never actually invited to be on the show yet. He popped on with Steve, and now he's hanging in the back of the room with you. He was on the Medicine Hat broadcast, so we're like, you know what, Trader, we'll wait for you on the show. I guess you've been watching some of the Memorial Cup action, obviously, before you got here. Just your take on these teams going into the semifinal tonight with London and Moncton.
Well, I heard people say throughout the tournament that's the closest round robin that they've seen, and I really don't disagree with it. You could have had any team finish with any given record. I think Medicine Hat did find another gear, especially in that game against London, and full marks to them for punching their ticket to the final early. London is London. They were a goal away from winning it all last year, and are even better this year with just a plethora of all-world talent. As far as Rimouski goes, for anytime your host team can make it to the final, whether they win or lose, that's probably a great indication of a strong competitive tournament. And credit to them. They played very well. Obviously, the injury bug hit them during the playoffs, and you have to think that they weren't totally recovered from that. Yes, Luke Coughlin got back in the lineup, but it's hard to say exactly to what percentage he was playing at. Of course, Spencer Gill still being out, really a shame for the Oceanic. So despite that, I will give them credit. They stuck to the game plan. Joel Bouchard rolling his four lines right up until he couldn't against Moncton in the last round robin game, and they gave it a good go. And of course, you guys know what Moncton's capable of. I think in a lot of other years, the Wildcats could be the team in the final this year. It's just that level of competition is so amped up this year. I would probably rank as probably one of my favorite tournaments of all time. So far, I've been watching this event for 30 years, and there really wasn't a weak link. Yes, Rimouski went 0-3, but that was a hard 0-3.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're right. It's and that's what everybody's been saying. It's just been just an uber competitive Memorial Cup, and all four teams, could walk away as champions. Looking at tonight, obviously 3-2 overtime loss by Moncton against London, the round robin. If there's a difference for this game tonight for Moncton to come out on top, what do you see that being?
Well, one of the things that they did not receive the first two games of the round robin seemed to click in that game against Rimouski, and that was simply offense from the forwards. You have 3 goals through 2 games, all 3 by defensemen. That's never going to be a recipe for success. But beyond that, and this is situation critical, it could have cost them a game against Rimouski, just starting on time. You cannot, if they have a first period like they had against Rimouski, against London, they could be down 4-0. For that matter, they could have been down 3-0 against Rimouski in that game. So that's got to be it. And you guys have seen this team every game of the season. I've probably watched the Wildcats maybe 20 or 30 times, all told, this year, regular season and playoffs. And it seems to be a bit of a habit at times where they may come out not quite, a little bit flat, and they are relying on, Mathis Russo or Rudy Guimond to really hold the fort for the first 5-10 minutes, whatever. Can't do that. Can't do that in this tournament. They got away with it against Rimouski. They get down 3 against London in that scenario that I just played out, and you might as well just call it a day. So that quick start, and it doesn't have to be anything. It's just being just being aware. Like, yes, it'd be great since there's no real home. I mean, if anything, the home crowd might actually lean more towards Moncton at this point anyway, given that it's a Q team. Feed off of whatever you can. And it's so much, it's more of a situation, yes, if you can come out strong and play like you did in the second period against Rimouski, really take it to him, physical, find another gear, find a way to change your game, give the opposition another look. That's great, but just don't get stuck. Don't get put on your heels for like 4 or 5, 6 shifts in a row. That was happening in the first period against Rimouski, and it's happened at times throughout these playoffs. But that was against weaker opposition. They were able to get around that and usually pull off a win. There's no room for that now.
No, and that's the thing. I guess this isn't DL coaching level bad where they never showed up on time. They were able to get away with things. And it's almost, I don't want to say it feels like a strategy, but it's almost like they want to see what you got in the first 10 minutes, weather that storm, be down 1, maybe be even, and then adjust in that first TV timeout and then come out and continue to go. You can't do that tonight against London. Like it is a game where you have to start at 8:08 or 7:08 on the ball, on your toes, or else we're packing. And next week, Jeremy and I are talking about the draft anyways, but our next show, we might be talking about the draft, which is crazy to think it's in a week from today, but we got lots of time to discuss that. Is this your first viewing of London live in this tournament?
Yes.
Like an Easton Cowan, a Sam Dickinson, a Casper Ullman, like what's your, I guess I know you're on our show, so you don't have to tame it down, but what is your excitement to see a London live, a Medicine Hat live? Because I've said it this whole week and into this. If there's a tournament I'm pleasured to be here live to cover, I get to see London and I get to see Gavin McKenna live while watching and covering my hometown team.
And that's part of what's made this event that much better, Adam, I find. It's that the best of all worlds. You've got that tremendously powerful team with something to prove in London, and then you've got that just phenomenal individual talent in Gavin McKenna. As far as looking forward to seeing both teams goes without saying. And you've kind of rhymed off the names already. Obviously, we know about the Dickinsons and the Easton Cowans and Holton, who basically looks like he's 25 years old out there, like an absolute man amongst boys, dominating, especially with that shot. They kind of like the Ovi-like presence there on the in the rear circle. Just an unbeatable shot from there, especially in the power play. From Medicine Hat. Yes, Gavin McKenna is by far the most dynamic player in this tournament. Just tremendous reads, a first step like you wouldn't believe. We've all seen it. But one of the other guys who really has impressed me, not just because of his abilities on the score sheet, but his coolness under pressure has been Ryder Ritchie. It seems like every shift that he is out there, he's a difference maker. And, it sounds cliche and it's a lot easier said than done. But when it comes to Ritchie, Gavin McKenna is a game breaker, no doubt, but Ritchie is kind of like that second game breaker. And not every team that even gets to this tournament has that second game breaker necessarily of that caliber. And that's not saying anything about the goaltending either. And there's Pat McNeil in the background, by the way, finally making an appearance.
Second appearance without being asked.
Exactly, without being asked. The tradition continues. Yeah. And that's the other thing too. Don't not take away from anything goaltending. It's not like Mathis Russo is the biggest name goaltender in this tournament. But we've seen 4 outstanding netminders, just adding to the overall competitiveness, and that's why when I say, the momentum from the forwards for the Wildcats has to keep going. There are no gimme goals in this tournament. You can throw, as opponents of Mathis Rousseau have found out, you can throw 40 shots against him, and you're coming out with a 1-goal win. Probably that same can be said for all 4 goaltenders that we've seen in this tournament so far. So yeah, it's just, and the other thing too that I'm just looking forward to seeing is just the overall competitiveness, the high level caliber of hockey that you see. Junior hockey is a different animal. When you see it at this level, it really makes you appreciate. For me, it makes me appreciate how strong a team like the Wildcats are. This has been a very special season for them. And the fact that we finally get to see them, and it took a while. Let's not kid ourselves. No disrespect to the playoff opponents that they faced, with the exception of Rimouski. They are finally facing top level opponents every single night. It didn't go their way the first two games of the round robin, but overall, just to watch it happen has been a treat.
Yeah, you mentioned Casper Halton, and I think if Moncton has any chance of winning this game, I think they got to stay out of the penalty box. Keep that guy out from his office, like you said, the Ovechkin release. And where do you see this game heading? Are we in for another overtime, or is this going to be a regular? I know Adam's shaking his head no, but I'd love to hear your prediction on this one, Will.
I'd love to. I will let you know after the 5-minute mark of the first period.
Yeah.
I honestly, it's not a cop out. I kind of am leaning towards the Wildcats winning this. They had their opportunity in the round robin and saw it disappear in overtime. If they don't walk away with the Memorial Cup on Sunday afternoon, you can't help but wonder about that Desnoyers opportunity on the breakaway just before London scored the winner. Yeah, honestly, after 5 minutes of the first period, we might know the answer. If we've seen some of the opening 5 minutes that we've seen throughout parts of the playoffs, the game against Rimouski, it may not end well, but you can't take away what the team has done so far, their ability to regroup. They just can't take a long time to regroup. And the staff behind the bench, of course, Gardner and Dougie Dell and all those guys. They know what to do. They should be able to steer the ship if need be in midstream. I'm leaning towards a Wildcats win, but again, it's a very tentative lean, not just because of what we've seen from the Wildcats so far in this tournament, but from just the quality of opponent that London provides.
Yeah, if you're the CHL, you couldn't ask for better. You got the top three teams that have been the top three teams all year in your final weekend. I mean, this is the best that they could ask for when they put this tournament in this city.
Yeah.
So obviously, Will, we want to go ahead.
No, I fully agree. And it's something you don't see every year. There's usually, like we said, there's usually a weak link somewhere. There's no weak links this year. I think it's going to take a lot to top a tournament like what we've seen this week, just in terms of pure skill, ability, and competitiveness. You don't want it to end.
Yeah, and if it is ending, we want to end the right way. But we'll let you get back to your guest, as I see he's waking up. So we'll let you enjoy the rest of the city with Pat there, and we'll see you tonight. And enjoy the semifinal, and if we don't talk to you, enjoy the final.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, thanks, Will.
Thanks, Will. Have a good one. All right, and let's get into this one for us.
Weekly Rewind.
All right, and the Weekly Rewind is brought to you by Alpha's Appliance Solutions. Right now, they got the KitchenAid built-in savings event. Save $600 when you purchase any 3, $800 when you purchase any 4, or $1,200 when you purchase 5 or more KitchenAid built-in major kitchen appliances. From now until June 4th, for those and any other deals, go to appliancesolutions.ca. Here's how we got here. A 3-2 overtime loss to London, a 3-1 loss to the Medicine Hat Tigers, and then a 6-2 beating of the Rimouski Oceanic on Wednesday to keep our season alive. London had a 3-1 win over Rimouski, the 3-1 loss to Medicine Hat. So they were 2 and where's the other one? Oh, yeah, and they beat us 3-2 in overtime, obviously. The start is going to be so key in this one. I'm not an analytics guy. As people watch the show, they know I do enjoy stats, but analytics is not the be-all, end-all. But you go back and look at the analytics from that game. London had 34 scoring chances to 23 for the Wildcats, 27 rush shot attempts to only 12 for Moncton. They outshot them total shot attempts 74 to 68. So it's a situation where I think Moncton has to do a little bit more possessing the puck instead of just dumping it in, trying to chase it, especially when Sam Dickinson's probably going to play over 40 minutes tonight for the Knights. They got to get more chances off the rush. We saw them kind of get their legs against Rimouski, but they got to get more chances. They can't just dump, chase, hope to get the puck, and hope to get possession with London's man-to-man defense.
Yeah, I think it's Sam Dickinson. Like, you're right, he's going to be on the ice every time you blink. He's going to be out there. So I think you really got to just. I think you're playing physical, forecheck him, and see if there's any anything in his game that makes him feel under pressure. Make him feel uncomfortable, because they probably haven't seen or a team that might forecheck as hard as Moncton does, right? So I think Moncton's got to find a way to really be first on the puck when it comes to forechecks and just get in there and grind them and tire out their D. It's I'm kind of looking forward to this game. I would love to see a Moncton win, obviously. You refer to them as the evil empire, London Knights, which I thought was kind of funny. But it's considering the teams that London has put out last year and this year, to see them more or less, not get a Memorial Cup would be something else. And that's just the joy of junior hockey, right? Yeah. You can have a team full of superstars, but once you get down to the big tournament and the big games, you've got to play your best. And I think I can speak for a lot of people that would say, they would love to see London not get anything out of this team or last year's team, but I don't want to say too much. I think it would be it's great. It would be great for junior hockey for a team, like Moncton or Medicine Hat, who haven't won the Memorial Cup in years or ever for that matter. Yeah. To get their first in a while.
Yeah, and that's a lot of markets in the junior hockey cycle, they get one kick at this. Like Moncton's getting this kick, and then we got to wait 3-4 years before we get another one. Medicine Hat, same thing. You look, 2020, it was our chance together. It's been 5 years now. We're back in this with the same kind of team. So to see London get there almost year after year, and they do this in chunks. They'll have a bad year where they'll finish like 6th in the conference and win a round, which is a bad year for them. To see a team like them come here back-to-back years and come away empty would, not only make us happy, but I think it make a lot of junior hockey fans that are kind of London tired. They're tired of seeing it, and it's a showdown where you said it, I said it, we've texted each other, like it's better to take a loss in the round robin. You only got to win one to get to a semifinal most often, mm-hmm. So it's better to take it then, learn what you need to learn, and prepare you for this. And this is a group in London that's not only has Moncton played at least one elimination game, London's never been in a semifinal in a few years. Like generally they go straight to the final and they wait for their opponents. They get that extra rest, and that's why they're pretty successful. So it's a bit of a different situation for them. Look, we talked about on Wednesday, what kind of team are we going to see from Moncton in terms of their backs against the wall? Mm-hmm. It's the same thing. It's an elimination game. I asked that team around what you need to do to be one shot better, because we were one shot worse than London in overtime. Again, they call the icing. Maybe it's a different scenario. It is what it is. These two teams could still be facing off in the semifinal if that result went the other way. But they just got to play their game. They got to start on time. That is the biggest key. They have to start on time. And I would assume that Gardner and the coaching staff have figured out this man-to-man defense that they haven't seen all year until they played London.
Yeah, it's like Will said, he can probably form an opinion, but he won't until 5 minutes in, after the 15-minute mark of the first period, right? It's they got to be ready at puck drop, and they've got to play a full 60 minutes. I would, if there was a game for them to play their most complete effort in since game one against Rimouski, mm-hmm. This is the night. We haven't seen very many full 60-minute efforts from this team in the playoffs. There's always been, these little spurts where they're not in it, or they, instead of they might realize the game has started, but it's 10 minutes over, right? Or there's 10 minutes in the second period where they're just not there. And
or they start against Baie-Comeau on time and they get up 4-0 and they can just kind of put it away, right?
Even they took their foot off the gas thinking it was over, and it almost came back to bite them in the ass, right? I don't care if it's a 1-0 game going into the second period or a 4-0 game going into the second period. You just got to keep your foot on the gas. You've got an off day tomorrow. If you win, it's not like a quick turnaround. You don't want to go and you don't have to go play a championship game in 24 hours.
Yeah.
You have a day off. You've got time you can lay it all on the line tonight, rest tomorrow, and be back and be back ready for Sunday night. That's all I want to see. I don't want to see a 58-minute effort. I don't want to see a 59-minute effort. I want to see a 60-minute effort. And if it goes in overtime, well, then it's
one shot.
it's one shot, right?
And it's 5-on-5. None of this 3-on-3. And Moncton's played very good 5-on-5 in this playoffs. They're 5-4-5 in 5-on-5 overtime. So it's a situation where you don't want to have to lean on Rousseau to stem the tide in the first 10 minutes.
Yeah.
I mean, he's been playing great. He's been unbelievable in this tournament, been the MVP of this team so far in this tournament. I would say Gabe Smith's got a lot of points and he's had a very good tournament, but as a whole, Rousseau's been the MVP and that's what he's brought in for. He's obviously going to go again tonight. Some different line rushes at morning skate. Kind of what we saw in the game. Lounsbury up on the top line, Pekarczyk down with the second line. So, but again, that might just be familiarity because London's going to draw some different combinations in their top 9. Moncton's proven that they can do that in their top 6, and it's worked against Rimouski. So it's a situation where even if you take the teams away, you're going to get to see Gardner McDougall with all the success against Dale Hunter. This is a marquee coaching matchup. And they went toe-to-toe and went to overtime. So it's a battle of who can have their team ready to go. And, I think that game against Rimouski, I think really helps Moncton. I mean, I think if that was a nothing game where they knew they were both going, or they knew that they were going to the semifinal against London, I'd be a little bit more worried. But I think seeing what they had with their back against the wall, I'm a little less nervous than I was going into that elimination game. I think that elimination game has served the Wildcats well going into this one.
Yeah, it just shows what they could do. When the season's on the line, it's we haven't seen it, right? It's the first time they've really faced elimination.
Yeah.
Facing elimination, there's 2 more elimination games here, right?
Yeah.
So they really got to find a way to put an effort like they did Wednesday night, with the exception of the first period, to full, right? That's all I ask for. If they play 60 minutes and don't come out on top, I'm not going to be upset. But given how strong the team London is, if there's any time off that they take, they don't have their foot on the gas pedal all game, and London takes advantage. There's going to be some disappointment. Tomorrow. That's not what I want. If I can walk away saying they played a great game but just came up short, I'm happy, right? But I think they have a team that if they play the right way the whole way, I think that they're going to come out on top.
Yeah, I'm with you. I don't want to talk about draft stuff right away. I want to save that for 5 more days from now. I want to talk about more hockey tomorrow, and that's where we're at. And if it's a 60-minute full effort from puck drop to the final whistle, and they don't come out on the winning end, you can't be upset with that. They gave it everything they had. So as we've said, as Will said, starting on time is key. Puck possession is key. Staying out of the penalty box is a major key, and getting shots through. I mean, Sam Dickinson and Oliver Bonk are leading in shot blocks with 14 and 13. So this is going to be a game where both teams are going to get in front of their goaltenders and try and block as many shots as they can, because that's what you're looking to do, and not give up chances. So I think we're going to see a 2-1 hockey game. I don't know which way it's going to go, but I think that's just the way we're going to see as a 2-1 hockey game, and it's going to be a fun night. It's a special night for the CHL. There's a lot of talent on this ice tonight, and it's going to be a heck of a game.
Yeah, you're right. It's going to be interesting. The fans are in for a good one. I know we're going to have a lot of Moncton fans are making the trip, so that's always a bonus. We hope we have Rimouski fans on our side. That's interesting. I wonder if we will, because we took a championship from them on the home ice, knocked them out on their home ice, but it is London, right? So they should. It's junior hockey. I mean, you gotta you go league first before anything else. I think that's just how that's the mentality, right? Unless it's a rival, if it's and does Rimouski consider Moncton to be a rival? I don't think so. I mean, we've had our fair share of good games here in the past few years, but it's not like if it was Rimouski and Baie-Comeau, something like that, where it was if Moncton was hosting or if St. John was hosting, would they be cheering for Moncton, or would they be cheering for London, right? Yeah. Or if it was Halifax hosting, would they be cheering for Moncton, or would they be cheering for London? It's going to be interesting to see how the Rimouski crowd responds and where the crowd goes. 100%, man. We've hit our 30-minute mark. No baby yet, so Megan, just hold off for tonight. It's a big one. Yeah. You can go ahead and have it tomorrow. That gives Jeremy a full 48 hours to get ready to find the game on the TV and get settled in. But hold off tonight. You can have it tomorrow. Enjoy the game, man. Tonight, I'm excited to get down there. I think the energy outside the building the energy outside on Wednesday was palpable. And inside that building, I think tonight is just going to be a different level, and we're going to see a different level of hockey. It rises every single time, from preseason to regular season to playoffs to finals to the round robin. This is just another level, and let's see if the Wildcats can rise to that. Anything you want to finish off with, sir? No, I just want a good game here. That's all I ask is a good game, and I really hope that's what we get. Yep, 100%. So that's it. Enjoy the game tonight, 8 p.m. Atlantic time on TSN 1 and 5. And no matter what happens, Jeremy and I will be back tomorrow. I don't know what time, but we'll be back at some point tomorrow for our late live daily show. For Jeremy, I'm Adam. See you guys tomorrow.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the Wildcast Podcast. Follow us on social media at Moncton Wildcast.